What is up, baby? What is up? Time for a little bit of that instant reaction. We obviously know Steelers Texans preseason game just finished up, so we're gonna talk about that thing, man. But yeah, interesting time tonight, man. Whenever we get that first opportunity to be in stadium, man, you never know what to expect. But like I said, man, we definitely gonna talk about that, man. I got some stuff that, like I said, man, I thought was some positives from the guys being in the stadium. Well, I obviously had some negatives, you know that, and of course y'all gonna have y'all questions and stuff like that I can't wait to answer, man. Especially on some specific players that stood out to me as well, man. So you know how we always do, regardless of if it's a podcast or a space talk, when we researching in the building, baby. Hit that like button on the front end. Don't forget to subscribe, but drop where you are tuning in at in the comment section, so that way I give you that big boy shout out to start the day's show. But always a good vibe, man. Anytime we get to see that black and gold live, them pads stomping. Yes, indeed. All right. See the homie Tito with the good vibes. Always rocking out, showing love in 817 Fort Worth, Texas. Yes, indeed. Sequoia Harris always in the BX, not the BX, the Bronx. Excuse me, the Bronx. Let me get you right real quick. The 718, though, New York in the building as always. Ray Fool Bennett in the 903 East Texas. The Don Hefe Quan all the way into 323 Watts, California. Salute you in Watts, baby. And can't forget about the homie Fifi for show 11 in the 817 Arlington, Texas. DD Smalls in North Florida showing love as always. Appreciate you, baby. Yeah. X Concepts in that 412 Monroeville. Yes, indeed. He said GP making plays. Oh, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, man. He did do that tonight. Obviously, we're going to talk about that in a little bit. The homie Zeke Shays here. All the way out in that 818,000 Oaks, California. Salute you. It's always a pleasure to have you rocking with us, man. G_Honda in the Queen City, Charlotte, North Carolina. Beautiful place, might I add. And Ryan McPherson. Always a pleasure to have you on the stream with me in the 602. Arizona. Hello. What up, Brent Simmons? And that 561 Boca Raton. Shout out to Florida, baby. Yeah. Like it, man. Nothing like, though, man, guys being back in the stadium, baby. Love a good game. Let me pull up this official stat chart, man. I'll make sure I do the guys justice while we, talk about them and everything tonight, man. But yeah, man. Good old time, man. Seeing the game. So, some of my, I guess, like I said, initial takeaways, man, from the game. Thought that in terms of, as an overall team, I thought we were physical at certain parts of it, man. I did like that, man. I thought there were some times we were running that ball well. I was like, okay, I see the physicality. Thought that you can see Arthur Smith in terms of what he was trying to do. Still vanilla in terms of the overall scheme of it, but you could definitely see he was trying to have some, the bigger body personnel groupings, 12, 13 personnel. Now, we got behind the sticks at times, and that was what was, making us do a little bit more of the, passing, attack, and stuff like that. But, yeah, man, I thought that in terms of the physicality from the team as a whole, I did like that, man. I thought that Peyton Wilson, shout out to Peyton Wilson, man. I thought that he flew around, man. I saw him make multiple tackles, man. I want to see how much they had him officially credited for. 7, yeah. So they gave him 7 total tackles, 5 solo, 1 tackle for loss. And yeah, man, I'll say this, man. I thought watching it live time that Peyton Wilson was very, very productive for that to be his first NFL game. And like I said, man, seeing the stat sheet reflecting it, thought that was impressive. Now, it wasn't perfect, and I do plan on doing a film review on him, man. Definitely got to talk that one, man, because I was excited when we drafted him, and definitely been excited just watching him in training camp and stuff like that, man. So to see him actually in stadium tonight, thought it was some good stuff that he put out there on tape, man. But the things that stood out to me with Peyton specifically, I liked the special teams tackles, man, because we know right now Patrick Queen and Landon Roberts are the starters, at least on paper, to start this thing out. So be productive where you can be productive at. Was impressive, like I said, man. See him get 2 tackles on kickoff. But then you watch him on defense, and this was the thing, man. you never know what to expect with young guys, man. First time in stadium, sometimes the lights get on, that heart starts beating a little fast, and they're just all over the place. But that wasn't the case with Peyton, man. I thought that his eyes were constantly in the right place, both run game and pass game. I thought that he had a nice trigger in terms of when he was seeing certain things. My man was not afraid to shoot his gun. That first tackle for loss, man, it was early in the game. I'm like, bro, you doing that? Like, if you gonna shoot, shoot. But man, most time young cats don't just, they're not willing to pull the trigger that much. But when you look at what he was doing collegiately, man, and this is a guy that's coming in with a lot of collegiate experience in terms of his age and stuff like that. I mean, it makes sense why he should be able to, be out there a little bit sooner rather than, how we typically would view most rookies. But yeah, man, I thought that he, like I said, flashed a lot of times, man. Run game, on defense, and in coverage. Now, in terms of where he can clean up, we saw him missing tackles. He had 7 of them things total, but he should have had 10 plus of them things if we being real, man. But I think for him, man, first time in stadium, hey, man, you can't ask for a better outing than that, man. I think it's only going to get better from there once he checks the tape and kind of gets back into the stadium again, and it starts to slow down for him. But I thought that was definitely a good spot for him. And shout out to Landon Roberts. I'm not gonna act like him being next to him did not help that as well, man. Anytime you have a veteran like Landon Roberts that you're able to just line up next to, you obviously see Landon Roberts calling the defense, doing all the communication and stuff like that. That takes a ton of that burden off of Peyton and really just allowed him to play tonight. And I thought that, like I said, that was really impressive. And then even watching him go from being next to Landon Roberts and then being next to Mark Robinson, where, you got 2 younger guys together. I thought both of those guys still were able to, like I said, man, communicate really well. And Mark Robinson, and shout out to him as well, man. He was downhill making plays both in the run game and the pass game. I thought the linebackers as a whole tonight, man, thought they played well. Jacoby Windman also late in the game, man. He was making some plays out there. So salute the LBs, man. Another thing, though, man, in terms of, some positives from the game, I thought Kyle Allen as a whole, we know he got the lion's share. We'll talk some Justin Fields in a little bit, but Kyle Allen got the lion's share of it. And, thought he did a good job, man. Obviously had the interception late in the game, forcing it, but looked like a true veteran, man. A true QB3. Salute him right there, all right? Because we know what QB2 or QB1A, 1B, I don't know how y'all want to do this thing with Justin Fields just yet, but either way, right? So shout out to Kyle Allen, though, man. I thought that good job with him, man, in terms of getting in and out the huddle, man. Having the offense just running smoothly, man. We saw some of the most productive drives under him. And like I said, man, we were able to get 2 scoring drives. Obviously had the nice touchdown pass to Connor Hayward, who continues to have a really good training camp and obviously carrying it over into the stadium tonight, getting the touchdown as well, man. I thought that that was really impressive to see with Kyle Allen and Connor Hayward continuing what they've been able to build, so to speak, man. But like I said, man, with Cal, I knew kind of like I said, I've seen him in Buffalo a little while, man. So that's kind of what, his track record has been. So like I said, it was good to just see that continue here. Justin Fields, though, man, let's talk him real quick, man. Didn't play a ton, got 3 series, I think it was total. But like I said, when it was time to throw the ball, man, the passing was beautiful from, his perspective in terms of the completions. We saw obviously the connection with him and George Pickens. Liked that. Thought he had a nice touch on the screen passes early on to Najee. And then we obviously saw him hit a nice pass to Van Jefferson as well. So definitely liked those elements. And even the smart, give up play. The check down on 3rd and 14, early in the game, man, the Texans were playing a prevent defense. Man, don't force anything dumb. Get what you can and, get off the field. Thought that was a good decision. I also like the fact that we could see him utilize his legs. I mean, it was some times where that protection was a little leaky, and we're going to talk to O-line. I know. We're trying to stay positive right now. We on the likes, all right? We're going to get to the dislikes in a little bit, all right? But in terms of, him being able to utilize his legs, I thought that was also impressive, man. Like I said, getting on the perimeter at times, man. Even when we were doing some of the rollouts, the boots and play action pass, thought that it was really just good to see him still, whenever he wants to utilize that part of his game, is very much there. And we could see how he was still just kind of gliding out there. He didn't even hit it just yet. But that's the exciting part that I thought, when you're watching Justin. But obviously for him, man, we know we got to clean up the QB center exchange, man. 2 drives essentially get stalled out behind that. You just want to look better. You want to look more professional. And that's, middle school rec league stuff, man, in terms of just being able to get the center QB exchange. So I definitely want to see that get cleaned up. But from Justin, man, I thought that it was a cool performance by him, man. We know what he's capable of, but we want to see more consistency. I thought him throwing the football tonight, he did display consistency. Now, granted, it was against some vanilla defenses, but as a whole, he looked clean throwing that football, man. So like I said, I did like that. A couple other people that stood out too, man, that kind of impressed me. DeMarvin Leal. Shout out to DeMarvin Leal, man. I got to see what we ended up finishing with. I know he had the sack. He looked clean out there, man. My man was hustling to the ball, getting downfield. So 3 total tackles for DeMarvin, a sack, tackle for loss, and he had a QB hit. Very, very impressive night, man, by DeMarvin Leal. As I was watching him, I just kept saying to myself, like, yeah, he looks like he's the older guy out there now. Like he's maturing a little bit, like he understands what to expect. And it showed, whether we're talking him in the pass rush game, utilizing his hands, winning, getting to the quarterback, or even in the run game, being stout at the point of attack. One of my favorite plays from the night, I want to say it was in the third quarter. Yeah, third quarter, about 3.5 minutes left in the quarter. It's a pass completed on our sideline. Dude's, probably like 10, 15 yards. And you see DeMarvin hauling tail, coming inside out, punching at the ball, makes the tackle, man. No fumble happens on that play. But the same way we would talk about Cam Hayward, the same way we would talk about Stephon Tuitt, the same way we've talked about Keanu Benton at times, being those guys to make those plays downfield. And eventually, if you keep running, you keep punching at the ball, you keep making those tackles, that ball will come out. It's just good to see DeMarvin putting that on tape in stadium, man. Shout out to him, and shout out to Isaiah Loudermilk as well, man. He was another one I thought that did that as well, man. Like I said, so definitely was digging that. Let me think. Who else kind of stood out to me? Calvin Austin as well. Shout out to Calvin Austin, man. He looked fast. My man looks fast, and he continues to display consistent hands. Did not put that football on the ground. That's what I like to see, man. Ball in your vicinity, go get that thing, man. But yeah, definitely was liking what I saw from him, man. Now, in terms of some of the stuff, like I said, that we got to be better at. Holy cow, what was up with special teams tonight, man? We was over that joint doing all the bad stuff. Like, you missing an extra point. We can't have that. Come on, Matthew Wright. You better than that. Couple explosive punt returns. 10-plus yards. Can't do that. Better than that as well. Then we had a penalty over there as well, man. It was illegal going out of bounds without getting touched. Don't want those type of things, man. And then obviously the muffed punt as well that resulted in a turnover. Gotta be a lot better there, man. And I expect Danny Smith to get on all of those dudes, man, because, yeah, we got way too much talent on this team for them dudes to be out there looking like that at times, man. Now, granted, we know those aren't the starters, when you're talking about the Miles Killebrews, your Tyler Metcalf, the guys that have been Pro Bowlers, all pros and stuff like that. They weren't out there, but you still want to just see a lot, just a higher level of just professionalism from that group, man. So, like I said, they definitely got to be better there, man. Thought that in terms of our offensive line, we had some moments. All right, we had some moments where I thought offensive line-wise, we looked good. I was like, okay, pass protection is clean. Justin Fields has a clean pocket. Or Cal Allen has a clean pocket. We looked good. All right, it was sometimes running game. I'm like, Zach Frazier, boy, you moving people. Broderick Jones, you moving people. Mason McCormick, you moving people. It was some times I was like, woo, get after it. Darnell Washington as well. Don't think I ain't see you 80. Come on now. But then there were these moments in pass protection and we were just like, come on, baby. No, that was too easy. Don't do that. And that happened a little bit too frequently, man, especially on our edges, the tackle spots, man. We got to be better there. Now we know for Troy, man, first time in the NFL stadium, and he was going up against one of them guys. All right, Danielle Hunter is one of them guys. All right, so, yeah, it happens. That's a tough draw for that to be your first one, man. It's a tough one. But, you live and you learn from that. And I think for him, man, he'll take these, the lumps that he had tonight, man, take one to chin. Shout out to Troy, man. He understands what it is. And for him, man, get back in the lab. That's all that is. First time in the NFL stadium, man, NFL pass rushers and the guys that he was going against, yeah, it gets real at times. I mean, even Broderick, you can even see with him, man, having to make sure he was locked in all the way, man. That's just That's what it is at times, man. But I would also say, man, that in terms of just with Troy as a whole, man, thought in terms of running game, the physicality did look good there. So if we're talking about just a positive takeaway from him, we know obviously whenever you give up a sack and stuff like that and some pressure, that's not the best feeling. But to at least see him be productive in terms of moving people in the running game, we did like that. Now, in terms of Zach Frazier, though, let me get back to Zach real quick, man. Zach was clean. Shout out to Zach Frazier. He was clean. I like Zach a lot. Zach's moving people. Zach looked clean out there. And there was no snap issues, all right? Not saying that was Herbig's fault on the first group, but all I know is it wasn't any issues with Frazier, all right? So shout out to Zach Frazier. But yeah, the O-line definitely going to have to, just get more reps in stadium together. Obviously, we know that first unit, it was different. They had Dan Moore at left tackle, Broderick at right. And then from there, I think they had maybe a series. And then after that, it was Broderick at left tackle. They brought in Troy Fautanu and put him at right. And then after that, I think it was, 2.5 series of Troy? Or maybe 3, but he kind of, wasn't having his best night. So then they ended up switching Broderick back to right tackle and then brought in Dylan Cook and put him at left tackle. So, it was just, like I said, one of them nights, man. One of them nights. But O-line wise, man, I think they'll be fine, man. It's one of those things that, you never know until you get into the stadium. OTAs shows you one thing. Training camp, whether you're in pads or not in pads, it's going to show you a different thing. But you also have familiarity with the players that you're playing against on your team. You have familiarity with just the styles of rushers that we have here in Pittsburgh. So this is the purpose of the preseason. Let those guys see different body types. Let those guys get acclimated to the speed of the game versus the speed of practice. And like I said, man, from there, man, these guys will come along from that, man. But like I said, man, that was kind of, my takeaway with the O-line. I thought that the D-line, though, man, shout out to that D-line. I keep going back to that, man. The D-line, boys, man, I thought that they really provided a nice wave tonight, man. Nice momentum, man. Nice physicality throughout the night and winning in the pass rush game as well, man. So salute all of them dudes for that. Let me think, man. Who else kind of stood out? Oh, Beanie Bishop. Gotta talk Beanie Bishop, man. Thought Beanie looked good out there, man. I know he had a couple of tackles. Let me see what he finished with as a whole. 4 tackles. All right, 4 solos. Shout out to Beanie Bishop, man. First time in the stadium. Undrafted cat, man. But it don't matter, man. Get out there and make some plays. Thought with Beanie, man. Thought he was really good versus the run. Triggered from that nickel spot. Thought he was physical and a good tackler as well, man. I thought that overall his eyes were really good in terms of when he was in zone, eyes on quarterback. When he was in man, eyes on his man. Discipline. Sometimes it's literally just the fundamentals that will put you, in position to make plays. And I thought that for Beanie, man, I thought that he did a good job tonight doing that with his eyes, man. And I think the one catch that I saw him kind of give up was the Steven Sims play, but it was on a crazy crossing route on possession down. So, obviously with that, man, it's going to have its, weaknesses when you're playing man-to-man and stuff like that. But as a whole, man, I thought that he did a good job, man. So shout out to Beanie Bishop. All right. But let me take a little pause real quick, man. Where my drink at? Gotta get a little sip of something. Yeah, and then after that, man, I know I got some questions coming in here, man. So I will get your questions, man. I see some supers also coming in here. So shout out to y'all as well. But make sure you hit that like button one time for the culture if you're digging what we doing tonight. And of course, don't forget to subscribe if you're new to the channel. We just getting started. Obviously, we know it's the preseason first game, but anybody that's been rocking with the channel knows, man, after every Steelers game, we're going to get up here. We're going to cut up about an hour or so, react, get my thoughts, my comments, my concerns. Then y'all, participate as well. And then from there, man, we have a little bit of fun with this thing. And sometimes we do giveaways as well, man. So you never know. Stay tuned, all right? In Hannibal 090, this is not tequila. I am not surfing and turfing tonight, man. All right. Yeah, I'm strictly plant-based for the evening. Okay. Now, when we get a little later into the year, might be a different conversation. All right. But for right now, we chilling. Okay. It's preseason, baby. We can't be riding like that just yet. That'll turn me all the way up. And what up, Jaron? Pittsburgh Steelers for life. It's always a pleasure to have you in the building. You know what time it is, man. And I see your Rod Dollar. Hey, I see you researching real soon, player. Real soon. All right. So let's see, man. A couple supers in here. Shout out to the homie David Dupree, aka D Smalls, the man, the myth, the legend, man. Appreciate you as always. He says, here's to a new season. Appreciate your content, my man. Hey, nah, man, it's teamwork. Appreciate you, appreciate me, appreciate you. All right. And you know how we do this thing, man. So one band, one sound. Got the homie Mike Hood rocking out with us as well. Shout out Mike Hood. And he says Peyton Wilson looked good and got turned around a couple of times with the laughing emojis. Them NFL players are fast. He'll be fine. DeMarvin Leal looked good too. The nasty Nate experiment not looking good. Frazier looking good. McCormick too. Man, shout out to you, Mike Hood, man. Plenty to unpack with that comment, man. I do agree, man. Peyton Wilson, like I said, he stood out to me. That was the one I kept going to my notes. I'm like, bro, I keep writing down Peyton Wilson. Like, God, dog, man. But he flashed. And honestly, I didn't want to have high expectations for him coming into this game because whenever it's your first NFL game, man, the speed, the way that you're breathing, just everything, man, it's just a lot to take in. And at times, man, it can overwhelm you. So you just, like I said, never know. But I thought that he really, played well tonight, man. The production was there. Now, in terms of getting turned around a couple of times, that happens. Yes, NFL players are fast, and it's a different speed going from training camp to your first preseason game. And I think for him, he kind of saw that as well. And that's kind of what put him in some of those awkward positions where he was missing some tackles. And I think that also, piggybacking on what I was talking about with Troy Fautano, I think that was also the case with him. You go from that training camp speed is one thing, and then you get to this preseason game, and now you're actually going against, a true starter in this league, an all-pro in this league, and Danielle Hunter. It's like, man, that speed is a whole nother level. And I thought at times, man, you could kind of just see him playing a little catch up to that as well, man. So that's real, man. That NFL speed is different. Big difference, man. But shout out to Peyton, though, man. He definitely did his thing. And yeah, man, DeMarvin Leal, man, you heard me ranting about this dude, man. With DeMarvin, like I said, man, not second year, dude. This is going year 4 for him, right? Let me make sure I got that right. Is year 3 or 4? Let me get him right real quick. Yeah, this is year 3 right here. Yeah. I was about to say, man, definitely one of the ones for him, man. But like I said, with DeMarvin, though, we know the expectations were there because of where he was drafted, but more importantly, because of his skill set. My man is talented as heck. We just want more consistency with the production from him. And if tonight is, any indication of what we're going to be able to expect from him on a consistent basis going forward, man, I think we're going to be in a great position, man, because like I said, he looked really, really good tonight, man. I love the effort that he played with, and just across the board, that he was a productive player tonight, man. All right. And then in terms of Nate Herbig, I wouldn't call it not looking good. This was the thing. The two QB center exchange issues. I was kind of like this, man. I wanted to side and say, oh, yeah, it was on the center because I'm pro Justin Fields. But as I'm listening to the live broadcast and the quarterback that played quarterback 15 years, Charlie Batch, he looks at the play and his comments where Justin Fields needs to sit in there and ride, the guy while he's stepping and snapping the football. And when he said that, I'm like, well, that sounds like that is a Justin Fields thing, not a Nate Herbig thing. So that was my only thing, man. I know later on Bob Pempiani kind of said a similar thing. Oh, yeah, Nate Herbig not the best. It's like, I get what y'all saying, but the dude that played quarterback for, like I said, 15 plus years, or however many years C-Bash plays, 15 plus minute now, he said, yo, that quarterback got to sit in there and keep his hands in there and ride that dude while he's stepping. So we could all have our opinions on it in terms of who was in the wrong, but I'm going to just side with the NFL vet that actually played that position. So I'm not going to say that was on Nate. I'm going to say that Nate was straight right there, man. But like I said, man, that's just kind of how I looked at it. Obviously, we know with Zach Frazier, man, everything was clean. We didn't have to worry about any of that for whatever that reason was. So shout out to that. But, as a whole, man, we definitely don't want to put the ball on the ground, though. That's what we can't do, man. So, like I said, it'd be interesting, though, man. But definitely Zach Frazier looked good, though. Without taking anything away from anybody else, Zach Frazier looked good. And that's what you want to see, man. Hopefully for him, he can keep doing that. Obviously, we want to see him continue versus those guys, but we also want to see him get a chance to go versus starters as well. So let's not lose sight of that also, and Mason McCormick as well, man. So shout out to them cats over there, man. But like I said, I like it, man. I like the interior part of our O-line. I thought the interior part at times looked really good. So our tackles, we just got to give me some more consistency, baby. They had me. I thought we was relapsing. I was like, oh Lord, no, don't do this to me now. I don't need this tonight. Nah. But nah, we're gonna be straight though, man. All right, let me see what y'all got over here real quick. Oh, now Spice Creations bringing up how with Troy kind of getting caught leaning to the inside, and feels like that was ultimately how he was able to get beat on the outside. Yeah, man. One of the things that I would say with Troy when I saw the play of him getting beat, dropping his head, man. Dropping his head. Now you kind of are in that position where you kind of got to reach, and versus any professional level pass rusher, they're going to be able to use active hands, outside hand, knock down stuff like that, and win the edge. That's the part where I was just kind of like, the speed is a little bit different in that first game. Because now, instead of you being able to be upright, good posture, shoulders back, staying square, good kick slide and stuff like that, now you're, waist bending, kind of chasing on this thing because you're like, whoa, hold on, I'm about to get beat. That speed is making me feel uncomfortable. And like I said, that's one of the things I just chalk up to it being first time in the stadium, first time in the NFL stadium versus pro, dude. That is nice, man. You look at what Donnell Hunter had last year in sacks. Yeah, he's a problem. All right, a real life problem, man. So like I said, that was the one thing that I would say for Troy though. He said he'll be fine. He'll bounce back from that, man. One of the other dudes though, man, speaking of pass rushers that I thought stood out tonight, man. Actually, a couple of them pass rushers stood out tonight. But the first guy was young Nick Herbig. All right, we're talking Nate on the front side at center, but I thought Nick Herbig, man, really flashed tonight, man. We could see him obviously showing some of that pass rushing ability that has really stood out with him, whether you're talking about him last year coming onto the scene, and then obviously this year's training camp and stuff like that, man. He's one of the guys that I've talked about as being one of the dudes that if he gets the opportunity, I think he's ready to have a legit breakout season. We obviously know he's going to get an expanded role as that third rusher. And then when you throw in the Marcus Golden surprise retirement, shout out to MG for that one. Yeah, now it's really going to be on young Herbig to, make the most of that opportunity as that third rusher. Let me see what he ended with tonight as well. Where is he at? Oh, just credit him with 1 QB hit. Okay, fair enough. But I will say this, man. The QB hit was clean, but he also had good pressure, man, in terms of just winning against the tackle, man. I thought early on, if he would have played longer in the game, I definitely thought he was about to continue to cook their tackle he was going against and get a sack off of that dude, man. But Nick Herbig was definitely one of those guys that I thought flashed in terms of the pass rush. I thought Jeremiah Moon also looked good. Physical, man. We obviously know he's a big, longer outside linebacker. But dude, look good setting the edge out there, man. We obviously know he came free, had that sack late in the game as well. And hey, we don't care if they don't block it up the right way. It's on you to make the play. And for Jeremiah, man, it was good to see him making a play, man, tonight. We obviously know he's not a rookie. He spent last year, he was in Baltimore on their practice squad and stuff like that. So that experience, I thought, did carry over. But as a whole, shout out to Jeremiah Moon, man. Like I said, not a dude that has been talked about a ton. But when you're down there still his training camp, man, it's a guy that does flash. You talk to the coaches down there, those guys are impressed by him because of the size and athleticism that he has, and more importantly, how physical he is. So yeah, man, I thought that it was good to see him tonight, man, making some plays. And then the other guy that I thought was low-key flashing, he didn't make any plays, but my man's get off was like, whoa, who's this dude off the edge? Kyron Johnson. Shout out to Kyron Johnson, number 53, all right? Yeah. He's on my radar now. I seen the burst. I'm a get off guy. All right now. Shout out to these pass rushers. The only reason they're even more intriguing now is, like I said, Marcus Golden. My man just retired on us. He said, I'm done. Hanging him up. So when that happens, man, more opportunities for other guys, man. But shout out to them cats, man. But yeah, hit that like button real quick, man. Let me take another sip of my H2O. All right. Hit that like button one time, though, if you're digging the show. And of course, subscribe if you're new to the family, baby. This is what we do. We just getting started. It's preseason game 1. We got a whole season to do this, man. It feels good to be back, though. Doesn't it feel good? It felt good watching the game tonight. I'm sitting in the crib and just like, yo, Steelers football is on. Man, come on, baby. This is what we live for. Is this not what we do it for? Golly. Man, y'all are on the Quez Watkins train, Lord. All right, I know y'all on his head tonight, man. Stall him out, guys. Stall him out. All right, it happens. It happens. Stall him out, though. He'll be all right. He's a professional, man. Yeah, but definitely, want to see better ball skills in that special teams element, especially when you're returning the punts, man. If that ball's over your head, man, just let it go. You're doing a lot with the over the shoulder look back. It's just, that's a lot. It's a lot, man. But shout out to Quez, though, man. All right, we got a couple more super chats coming in here, man. Shout out to y'all also, man, showing love with the super chats from the heart. Definitely appreciate you. G_Honda. He says, Arthur Moats, do you think it's time for Calvin Austin to have a breakout year with increased productivity? Man, I'll say this. If Calvin Austin can play the way that he did tonight, I don't see why he can't have a breakout season. Look on the other side of the field, right? In terms of Tank Dell. Smaller receiver, lightning fast though, right? He was the one who caught the what was it, 30? How far was that? He caught the 34-yard touchdown pass, right? The bang, the little post route, right, versus the cover 3. So you think about the speed that he plays with, and I look at Calvin Austin, I'm saying to myself, why can't you do that? Because I think that he can do that. And I think that he's fast enough and elusive enough to do that as well. He obviously ended the night, 2 catches, 49 yards. Shoot, should have had a touchdown, low key. Now, Kyle Allen, deliver a better throw. Absolutely got to deliver a better throw. But at the same time, Calvin Austin catch it the first time and it's a touchdown. We saw him double catch it. That was my only issue. I'm like, yeah, I want the throw to be a lot better. But if you catch that the first time, you got a touchdown on top of your night. And now we like, yo, you balled out. You feel me? So with Calvin Austin, man, I definitely think that he is more than capable of having, a breakout season. He's going to get the opportunities, especially with his unique skill set, the speed that he plays with. And depending on how long Roman Wilson takes to get, acclimated to the offense, we know he's out with the ankle injury. Depending on how long it takes for him to get back and then get up to speed, that could only mean, more time for Calvin Austin to be out there without having to split reps or split potential touches with somebody else, man. So I think for Calvin, man, yeah, take advantage of these moments, man. But he definitely looked good to me, though, man. Shout out to Calvin Austin tonight. All right, tons of fun. I always appreciate you being in the building. And shout out to the super chat as well, man, from the heart. Says, like what I saw from Frazier. Better blocking and snapping than Herbig. No offense, seeing as he's a guard. Also, Troy got beat by Hunter. A great pass rusher. So I'm not sweating. He'll improve. Yeah, I agree, man, across the board, man. Like I said, Zach Frazier played really well tonight, man. That's the reason why we drafted Zach. That's the reason why we're excited about Zach. And that's the reason why we just want to keep seeing him get more opportunities. He's looked good in OTAs. He's looked good in training camp. And now we got a chance to finally see him in stadium versus another team. And I thought he looked good tonight, man. And that's the thing with Frazier, man. We know that he was a very, very proven player coming out of West Virginia. Multiple years of starting football, man. Physical guy. Ton of success, man. We obviously know how decorated he was when we talk about, wrestling history and stuff like that, man. Things like, what he brings to the table there. So when I think of Zach Frazier, man, I'm just like, all right, dude, like I know what you're capable of. Now just keep showing it. So for me, now that I've seen him do this tonight versus that second and third unit for the Texans, now I'm like, all right, let me see you do it again versus that unit, or let's go ahead and maybe bump you up. Maybe you get a series of 2 versus a 1s. I want to see what you look like versus a potential starting defense out there, or a higher end D lineman. Because like I said, we saw Troy had to go against Danielle Hunter. All right, we know what that is over there. So that's the only thing with Frazier. It's like, yo, let's see you against a little bit higher competition, man, to see if you can keep doing that. Then that can make, Pat Meyer a lot more comfortable with him potentially being that starter sooner rather than later. So we'll see with that, though, man. We'll definitely see with that. All right. And then shout out to ASAP Smalls as well, man. ASAP Smalls says, been watching you and Deke for the past couple of years. Love your content. Going to the Berg for my first game versus the Chargers. Any spots you recommend while I'm there? Well, first off, shout out to you, ASAP Smalls, for the love, for the support, and for that to be your 5th super chat as well, man. Always appreciate you, man. There we go. All right, now we got the audio back shaking. There we go. There we go. There we go. If you can hear me, hit that like button one time for the culture, baby. There, I see your Mike Hood. There it is, Jaron. Pittsburgh Steelers for life. Soul B, shout. Fifi Fo Show. DC 53. Spice Creations. Holla at me, yeah. Sometimes, I need y'all to let me know when y'all can't hear me, man. I appreciate you on that feedback, though, baby. Yeah. We back. And shout out to y'all see me producing over here. Y'all see me, I was like, oh, all right. Oh, it ain't want to work. This ain't my first rodeo. So yeah, there we go. We back now. All right. So let me get back to where I was talking and what y'all might have been missing. Because all I was actually talking about was the recommendations for the homie ASAP Small. All right. So let me see when y'all couldn't hear. All right. Think it might just be at that super. I think that was the last one y'all missed, all right? Yeah, so that was the last one y'all missed it. All right, I think we good there. So ASAP Smalls, let me get you back real quick, all right? So ASAP Smalls, shout out to you for your super chat. And basically what he was saying was that he's been rocking with the show for a while, man. Said a couple of years now. He loves the content, and he's going to the Berg for his first game versus the Chargers, and he was asking if we had any recommendations, right? Why he was going to be down here. So I told him about the Strip District because they have upgraded it. It is fire down there. You can park in one spot and just kind of walk both, the big long roads of the Strip, man. You can't miss it. Everybody's gonna be down there, black and gold out. Like I said, got a ton of Steelers shops, man. Cool eating places. OG Permani Brothers is down there. You also have some upgraded dinner spots down there as well, man, where they just kind of like redid the Strip District next to the OG Strip District. So I would definitely say check that out, man. And it's gonna be like authentic Pittsburgh too, man. So I strongly recommend that. And it's not far from PNC Park and Acashore Stadium, right across the bridge and stuff like that, man. But I would definitely say that you could literally just park and just gotta walk all of that, man. So that's what I would recommend. And then like I said, depending on your age group, if you're a little bit of the younger crowd and you're looking for some fun, go to the south side, man. They got some cool little spots that you can hang out in. All right. And if you more of the cool, calm, and collected OG version, stay on that North Shore. All right. They got spots over there for you. All right. Right next to the stadium. Can't go wrong. So shout out. But yeah, just depending on what age group you're in. All right. Just depending on what age group you're in. For me, but you ain't gonna never catch me at the south side anymore. All right, them days long gone, baby. I don't want no problems. But you might catch me on the I might be down on that. I ain't gonna be outside, but if I did be outside, it'd be more on that North Shore. I'm just throwing it out there. All right. So yeah, let me get back to the building. Now, let's see what the people are on, man. Y'all had me laughing over here with the no audio, man. Had me getting back over here. So there we go. See what's the next. We got a super coming in from G_Honda. Shout out to G_Honda. He says, with a healthy TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, and Patrick Queen, Arthur, I can feel the emergence of the steel curtain returning. Now, don't get me excited talking this steel curtain talk. Don't get me excited because you know these my dudes, man. Love TJ. TJ a killer out there, man. Been doing it since I seen him. This is all I know. He gets after it, man. Highsmith has shown that he is an elite level number 2, right? 14.5 of them sacks, man. Then came back up with a 7.5, man. We want to get him back at the double digits, and he knows he's ready for that. Patrick Queen, as good as advertised, man. He's been flying around. I can't wait for us to finally get a chance to see him in stadium for us as well. But yeah, we have a lot of the pieces in place. We have youth where we need it. We have experience where we need it. We have depth. I'm very confident in us defensively. I think the only, places where we might have our concerns for me is still in that kind of slot, cornerback slot, more so due to the Cam Sutton suspension. We know he's going to miss the first half of the season, but watching Beanie Bishop play tonight, I thought that he did some good things. So we'll see if he can continue, doing that, because that would alleviate a ton of that pain and pressure. But that would probably be the only, concern that I kind of have right now. Dante Jackson, I feel confident in him. We know what Minka can do when he's out there. And Casey is a very, very formidable safety as well, opposite of Minka, man. So I do like that. But as a whole, man, like I said, we got the dudes up front that can win. We have the guys in the back end in terms of Deshaun Elliott, veteran, physical presence. And when you're talking about JPJ, man, that's another dude that we know he had the penalty tonight, but he also had a PBU tonight, man. It was a very JPJ. It was like, hey, man, you ain't got to grab that dude like that. You know better than that. But like I said, man, I'm feeling confident about that group, man. So I like what you're talking about, G_Honda. I like what you're talking about. King Whooper. Shout out to the King. One time, baby. He says, I couldn't hear you, but I felt what you were saying. And I'll salute you on that as well, man. And that's why I appreciate y'all, because y'all rock with the homie the way that I like it, man. Even when I be messing up, actually, I don't be messing up. Even when I be messing up, they want to make me have to work, put on multiple hats tonight. We get it taken care of, man. So salute that, man. Salute that. No, Malvo does it. Don't do me like that. Malvo said he's worried heavily about JPJ. Oh, man, don't do that. JPJ had a little holy hole. It happens. It happens. What about that PBU, though? All right, come on, man. We'll be all right. Oh, yeah, and I see you, L_Plaga, talking about the homie Ryan Watts. I thought that Ryan played extremely well tonight as well, man. I was a little bit upset with him, though, man. He should have had 2 interceptions than me, man. I thought that he had great eyes in zone coverage. I love the way that he was breaking on the football, but I thought that he left a couple of plays out there that should have came home and been interceptions. And I know he's going to watch the tape and feel the exact same way. Because I'm like, bro, you could make that play. You're nicer than that, bro. But I thought as a whole, he looked confident, man, at that safety position, filling the alley, making tackles in space, open field versus running backs and receivers. Thought that he looked the part as a safety. We know that he predominantly played corner in college. But to see how he's been transitioning since coming to the Steelers, he's looking like he's settling in as a safety. And if he can keep playing like that, I'm confident in his coverage ability. I feel like when you're a guy that plays corner on the outside, and especially corner in the Dagon, well, they were Big 12. Now we know they SEC in terms of Texas. But when you're playing out there, man, you're dealing with some high-level athletes, man. So you can cover. But the big question was going to be, can he tackle? And that's going to be, what we need from a safety. Guys that can tackle, guys that aren't afraid, when that ball is in the alley or when it's one-on-one, you got to get a Najee Harris on the ground. Can you do that? I thought that Ryan, like I said, tonight, I was really impressed with his tackling. I actually put that in my notes. I was like, yo, Ryan looked good tackling, man. So shout out to him on that, man. Definitely want to see him get another opportunity next week, man. Because to me, when you watch Ryan Watts, to me, he looks like a younger version of Deshaun Elliott. Like Deshaun, like I said, is a little bit more buffer in terms of like his overall frame, arms, and stuff like that. But where I think Deshaun is more of the physical build of it, I think Ryan has a little bit more of the athleticism, especially coming from that outside corner spot. But obviously, we know with Ryan, he's just a young player. He has, a lot to learn at that safety position. I think a guy like Deshaun, can be a huge asset to him just because they're very similar body types. And I think that that's going to help Ryan out a lot, man, in terms of just getting more comfortable with the position. But I thought that he flashed a couple of times tonight, man. I was really impressed with Ryan Watts, man, for that to be his first NFL game and for him to be playing a new position, man. And so he's playing safety, man. So salute to him as well on that. Okay. I see you. Tons of fun. Tons of fun, baby. Hey. He says, I'm not going to freak out on not challenging a preseason play. Don't do that. Don't do that. Oh, no. They coming at the preseason challenge or the lack thereof. But we have the same issues with not challenging. Wish I saw more with Washington. Respect. So, yeah, I thought it as well. I was like, bro, wait, we really ain't going to challenge that? Like, Van Jefferson really plucked that. Oh, give me that. And then put them 2 feet down. And because the Texans DB was talking when he got up, I'm like, bro, you better challenge this play, bro, because this is actually a completion. And shout out to Justin Fields too, bro. I know, like, in terms of the little details, you want that ball in the front shoulder here versus back hip, because obviously back hip, it allows that DB to be, a little bit more of a player or a little bit more of a factor in the play. But, man, Van Jefferson caught that ball. 2 feet were down. I mean, we would all agree with that, man. So, yeah, I would have liked to see the challenge, but we also know the challenge rules have been altered, right? You got to win 2 to get the third one or something like that, right? So, yeah, maybe Coach T is a little skittish right now, man. But he also doesn't have the best track record with challenges. I think at one point he hired somebody to be the challenge expert, and the record was still, like, horrendous. So, yeah, I don't hold my breath when it comes to challenges. We all got a weak spot. That, for certain, is my dog Coach Tom's weak spot right there. Oh, baby. Yeah, he gonna get better, though. He gonna get better. We're gonna get better this year. And with Darnell Washington, yeah, I would have liked to see a little bit, from a passing standpoint. But at the same time, when I think of the 3 guys in terms of the tight ends, right? Connor Haywood, Pat Freiermuth, and Darnell Washington, I think they all kind of played the way that we've been seeing them utilized at training camp. Connor Hayward, a little bit more of the versatile do-it-all guy. You see him point of attack blocking. You see him, running the routes to the flats, crossing routes, stuff like that. He got the touchdown. Then you see you move more of the traditional inline, route you up type tight end. We saw him have a nice catch and stuff like that. And then Darnell Washington, it's kind of been their, extra offensive lineman, really focused on blocking when he's been out there type. And I think that was kind of how we saw him utilized tonight. But I thought that he did well in that role. Like I said, we just want more production from him from an offensive standpoint. But when they asked for him to block, man, I thought that he did do that from a good, or at least he did that at a high level tonight, man. So salute him on that. But obviously, that's the next step of his game. We're like, man, we know you can block. We want to see you block more consistently. And I thought that was good to see tonight. But we want to see him continue to evolve, and specifically him catching the football, or at least being more of a threat there. We would like to see that, man. All right, Child of the Corn. Shout out to Child of the Corn as well, man. Says, could have looked better tonight. Aside from the miscues, the young guys looked pretty good. You checking out Alien Remulius this next week, Moats? Ooh, of course I am, man. Big Aliens fan, man. And the previews look absolutely fire. Come on, man. Absolutely fire, man. And we got the homie Ridley Scott, man, producing it. Whenever Ridley's on that thing, man, I'm hyped. I'm locked in, man, because don't nobody do aliens. Don't nobody do scary like he does it, man. So, yeah, your boy's going to be in there. In fact, man, I feel like I've been in the theater the past 2 weeks, man. Me and wifey yesterday went and saw Long Legs with Nicolas Cage. That was a dope, freaky, psychotic type dope movie, though. All right, shout out to Long Legs. And then, what did I see the week before that? The week before that, saw Twisters, the new Twisters movie. So yeah, man, it's that time, man. I'm trying to get back into the theater, bro. Like I said, Alien, the new Aliens is dropping, like you said, next week. I want to see Trap. That's another one I got to go check out, man. Smile 2 is coming out. Big fan of that, man. Come on, bro. Don't get me started on the movies, all right? Let me stay focused. Can I stay focused? Let me stay focused, Child of the Corn, because we can do this all night. You know this. We can do that, all right? But salute you, baby. But yeah, the miscues, man, I think that I chalk some of that up to first time in stadium. You remember the Texans, they've already had a game in stadium. They played in the Hall of Fame game last week. So you kind of get a chance to work through some of your kinks, some of your just operation stuff, that kind of pops up when you're in stadium that is a little bit different than training camp. But like I said, for tonight, man, it wasn't the prettiest in that standpoint from the little details, the minutia, in the words of Coach Tomlin. But I do feel like that can get cleaned up, and it will get cleaned up in a hurry because, yeah, the fastest way to lose in the NFL is, do self-inflicted stuff. Turn the ball over in special teams, not getting off the field when you're supposed to. 4th and goal, and we got a chance to get a tutty, and, we don't connect. Yeah, it's that type of stuff, man. That's how you lose within the margins right there. So I feel like for Coach Tomlin, that's going to be the message to those dudes, man. But he understands the youth element of it. And for that to be our first time in stadium, you kind of give him a little bit of grace with that, man. But I think those guys will be good, though, man. All right. Y'all hit that like button, too, man, if y'all digging what we on tonight, baby, all right? I know we get to the back end of this thing, but still big vibes, man. Still big vibes. All right. And Hayden Fox, man. So, yeah, you asked my thoughts on Peyton Wilson. Baby, I've been talking Peyton Wilson a lot tonight, actually, man. He balled out. Start to finish, man. Productive, 7 tackles. Thought he looked good in coverage. Could clean up some of the, missed tackles, stuff like that. We just chalked to, first time in stadium. I thought that he got a little bit fatigued, just a little bit. So I'm breathing. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's that. I just got off defense, but then I had to go cover the punt. Then I had to go cover the kick, or I had to go get back out there. And it's fast. And now you breathe, so I thought some of that was that. But as a whole, man, I was really, really, really impressed with Peyton Wilson, man. Like I said, I will be dropping a film session on him at some point this week, man, whenever the All-22 becomes available, man. And shout out to the NFL. I hope they get this All-22 coming out sooner rather than later, so that way I can get that content turned around to you guys a little bit faster as well, man. Because I know, some of y'all be looking forward to that, man. I do appreciate that as well, baby. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, man. But no, I'm with you, T. Gaddis. If Peyton Wilson can stay healthy, man, he for certain could be a beast, man. That was the talk about him, though, coming out of college. You look at his tape at NC State, it looked like what it looked like tonight. He flies around. He chases dudes down from sideline to sideline. He is an absolute menace on the football field. He's also a very smart player as well, man. And that's a part of, why he's able to fly around and make some of the plays that he's making. And that's what I thought kind of showed tonight. Now, like I said, we want to see that continue from him. And I want to see what the combination is next week. If Patrick Queen, plays, then now we're, probably going to see a little bit more of Peyton and Mark Robinson versus Peyton getting those, series or 2 with Landon Roberts. And that, like I said, you just want to see what that looks like when he has to take on a little bit more of the communication or, just not having a super vet savvy guy next to him. Can he still fly around and play fast? Those are going to be the questions. But like I said, man, I was really impressed with him tonight, man. Really impressed with Peyton Wilson tonight. Oh, okay. And shout out to L_Plaga. He says Anthony Everett got good reps, huh? Nah, man, I thought that the Everett, man, I thought that he made some plays tonight, man. Obviously, it wasn't the best in terms of, start to finish, but I thought that he definitely had some production out there. He looked like a guy that has played in the league before also, though. And that was the one takeaway that I had from him, man. Seeing him, like I said, in coverage, making some tackles, was like, yo, this is a dude that has played before, and he looks like it matters. It looks like he understands the preseason and what he has to put on tape. So, yeah. All right. Oh, shout out to King Whooper as well, following up. He says, how do you feel about Justin Fields moving forward? To me, I kind of feel the exact same. I know throughout the week, man, especially on the podcast, me and Deacon been kind of going back and forth about this whole quarterback competition and can Justin Fields, is he in the driver's seat because of what he was doing in training camp, etc. But to me, I just think it's a different, I look at it differently, man. I feel like for Justin, this was a great, opportunity for him. And I thought that he did play really well tonight. And there's still, more that he can do. But I was impressed with what I saw from him. But this at the same time is Justin Fields. He has actual regular season NFL tape that is clean. Now, it's not, it hasn't been perfect. And that's part of why he was available to us. But as a whole, I thought that for it to be his first opportunity tonight, I thought that he looked good. I thought that he threw that ball well. Thought the legs were on display. And he handled the adversity, man, because he did get hit a couple of times, man. Not just sacked, like, he took some shots, man, but thought he still looked confident out there, man. So that's the thing with me, man. But I also want to see with Russ getting back, what that looks like as well, man. But that's the thing with Justin Fields, man. Just keep putting good stuff on tape. Keep looking consistent. Keep being a playmaker. Whatever is going on with the QB Center exchange, we got to fix that. But as a whole, like I said, I like what I saw from him tonight. Oh, and Quentin Little, yes, Corey Trice did play well for his reps. He didn't get a ton of them, but I like what I saw. My man was physical, had his tackle, did his little celebration. I'm like, bro, it's nothing like that first play in the NFL, man. For some dudes, man, you get it that rookie year. For Corey, we know he had to wait a year because he was rehabbing the ACL injury. But shout out to Corey Trice, man. It was really good to see him out there make that tackle, man. Really good to just see him, playing as much as it wasn't a ton of plays, but like I said, man, just him being back out there because we know prior to him getting hurt last year, man, he was one of those guys that was really lighting it up in training camp. And like I said, for him to be able to kind of pick up and get back out there, man, like I said, man, shout out to him for that, man. So definitely was liking that. Alrighty. King Whooper says, do you think this preseason loss will kill the team morale? No, not at all, man. When we're talking preseason, even though we want to win, even though it is very competitive, even though, whenever they're taking score, you're like, yeah, man, we're going to do what it takes to come out on top. There's still this like underlying, it doesn't count. And that's part of why we utilize these games for evaluations and why you see, Justin Fields and then you'll see Kyle Allen, right? I was waiting to see if John Ross Plum was going to get a rep or two. Because it's preseason. You just kind of, you want to see a little bit. You don't want to show too much, but it's more so a higher level of scrimmaging, right? Because you obviously have the referees. You do go through the mechanics of, getting into the stadium, right? Your warm-ups and everything like that. So I don't think that it kills morale because for us, we kind of understand what it's designed for. It's the dress rehearsal, so to speak. So I think for them, man, it's more so you use it as a teaching tool. The good plays you made, cool. Unfortunately, they don't count. And then the bad plays, all right, cool. But guess what? They don't count either. Because once the regular season hits, it doesn't matter if you scored 20 touchdowns or you gave up 20 sacks in the preseason. That doesn't count on your official stat sheet, baby. So in that capacity, man, dudes will be straight, man. But like I said, man, they'll be fine. And that's the other part. Because you remember how I want to say Cleveland 2 years ago, man, when they were going undefeated in every preseason game. And it's like, just because not 2 years ago, it was a couple years ago, because they went undefeated in the preseason and then didn't win anything in the regular season. It's like, just because you have success in the preseason, man, that's not a barometer that is going to carry over into the regular season. Unfortunately, we saw that last year with us. But at the same time, it's like, if you understand what these games are designed for and what you're trying to get accomplished and things like that, I think that they are very, very productive tools. And that's why I'm a big fan for them, even though the NFL keeps trying to take these games away from us. They're like, yo, we don't want no preseason games, man. Just jump right to the regular season. Get that money. It's like, yo, these are good opportunities for these young players to get some evaluations out there, for these young guys to grow, for, new guys coming to the team to kind of get some chances to get in stadium reps without it actually counting all the way officially, in terms of when the regular season hits. But shout out to the preseason, though, baby. Shout out to the preseason. All right. So let me see. Because it's about that time. Ooh, this is an interesting question. Quentin Little asks, what do you think of bringing back Juju if we can't get Brandon Ayuk? I'm not against that at all. But if I remember correctly, Juju is still with the Patriots. So that's the only thing, man. We'd obviously have to go and acquire him. And I don't think we're trying to do that per se. Cause, oh, no, wait a minute. They released him? Are they released him? Wait a minute. Hold on now. Hold on. Maybe I'm reading that wrong. Let me make sure that's right. Huh. Okay. So that is interesting. They did release him, man. This was, today. Shout out. Okay, yeah. So, okay. All right. Shout out to ESPN.com, baby. Yeah, Juju did get released. So, my only hesitancy is, what is the knee condition? That was part of why he wasn't available last year throughout. and part of, why he wasn't all the way available this year. But or in terms of the preseason type stuff, man, training camp. But to me, Juju fits what we want to do. His brand of football is definitely our brand. Let's not act like Juju didn't come here and thrive, and then you watch him play elsewhere and he still has success. He is a big, physical, strong player that can block, that will hit you in the face, and like I said, he's a consistent catcher of the football with his hands. We've never had to worry about Juju not being able to catch the football. I think the concerns with Juju were more of a maturity question, and specifically when it was the TikTok dancing on the logos. After we was like, yo, please chill, and he kept doing it. We get that. But I've never, looked at Juju in the same vein of how we look at Chase Claypool. And I think at times people will think back on Juju and put him in the Chase Claypool category, and I don't think that that's fair. I think that Juju is a very a far more productive player, both as a receiver and as a blocker. And I think that he's matured a lot. He's also a Super Bowl champion. Let's not forget that as well, man. So if the knee is fine, or if the knee is, we can still work with it, then yes. But if the knee isn't good, the knee is bad, as maybe the Patriots are thinking or something like that. I don't know. Because we know he had the contract as well, man. He had the 3 for $25 million up there. So we know some of that is at play as well. But like I said, if his knee is good, I am 100% behind bringing Juju back here, because I think that he fits what we want to do in terms of being a physical receiver that will block you, that can line up in the slot, that can line up on the outside. We know he can catch the football. We know he's going to give you all the combat catch stuff. And like I said, this is a dude that's won a Super Bowl. So we know he's not afraid of the lights. He's performed in big time moments on, countless times, man. So like I said, if he's healthy, man, I'm down for it. But we got to make sure that knee is right. All right. And then it looks like last one of the night, coming from the homie Tons of Fun. Buddy is an Eagles fan. He warned me about Quez. Nah, shout out to Quez Watkins, man. Trust me, man. Anybody that knows Quez Watkins knows he is lightning fast, but wildly inconsistent with his catching of the football, whether that's at receiver or, as we saw tonight, as a return man. But you think back to when we played the Eagles a couple years ago, if I remember correctly, Quez, low-key, he had a day. So that's the other part, man. I'm like, Quez will be all right. He'll be straight. But Quez is Quez Watkins for a reason. You know what I mean? That inconsistency is real, and that's partly why he's here. Because he hasn't been able to be consistent with his gifts. And yeah, in this league, man, when you have a bad play like we seen tonight, you keep putting that out there. It's like, But the flip side is, because of how fast he is and because of what he is capable of at times, this is why he's been able to stay around. So we shall see, man, what happens with him. But hopefully y'all enjoyed tonight's stream. Like I said, man, we're gonna do this after every game, home or away, does not matter, man. We're going to get our reactions in, man. We're going to talk. We're going to chop it up, man. So, like I said, definitely appreciate y'all rocking with me for that one, man. But hit that like button one last time if y'all have not done so. And if you are new and you just came along, man, don't forget to subscribe as well, man. But like I said, definitely appreciate you for tuning in. And until next time, baby, peace.